every migration requires some planning, and every webinar requires some sort of a agenda. So we'll try to cover quite a few topics. In fact, when we started planning this webinar, I came to a meeting with a deck of 100 slides or something like this. And I said, John, I think that we should cover all those topics, every little comparison between on-prem and cloud and what you can do and which direction should you go. But the truth is that this is a pretty extensive topic, and I don't think we have enough time to cover everything. So we'll try to scratch the surface, covering things like building the use cases, what to focus on, what your migrations options are. John will dive in his consoles and terminals and browsers and dev environments to show you guys a couple of things, how things work and how to speed up migration. And then I will be actually throwing a couple of curveballs to him, and we'll deep dive into a couple of use cases about banking, education, and associations. And yeah, this will be tricky questions. Before we begin, though, there are a couple of reasons why you might want to look into upgrading Sitefinity, modernizing your DX, offloading your infrastructure management or maintenance to a cloud provider, whether it's through us or through a Sitefinity partner. And there's a reason why. Now, has nothing to do with cloud, but this is something that is going on, has been going on for 2 years probably. There's quite a few things that are changing in the landscape. And with the introduction of ChatGPT, Perplexity, even the search engine results on Google, there's these expectations that static pages are out. And I'm not referring to how you build your pages in Sitefinity and how you neatly organize them on the folders. I'm thinking about what a page does. So the question is, have we come to a place or to a moment in time where our customers, our prospects, our visitors are actually expecting more interactive experiences versus one way to communicate static information and keep it, non-updated for quite a while. And that's another topic that is popping up in quite a few research papers out there and top leadership articles. Have site-centric approach to building site-centric experience gone as well. And if you think about it, it's what time is it where you, John? 10 o'clock, 11?
Yeah, 11 a.m. Almost
11
lunchtime.
Chances are that by 11 a.m. we already have logged into Copilot, Perplexity, ChatGPT to ask a question about cats, planning vacations, and doing all sorts of research about upcoming Christmas shopping. Why not? And this is changing the way people interact with brands and where the conversation is actually happening, meaning that they're spending more time on ChatGPT, on other sites, even like Reddit or communities, and less time on your website, meaning that traffic could be potentially going down. We'll talk about it later. Conversions could be going down, interactions could be going down. And actually, this requires you to prepare your experience so it is more AI friendly, multi-channel friendly, multi-audiences friendly. And basically, you need to rethink it in and where you want to go and how you get there, because at the end of the day, at some point, it might be too late. Rigid CMS workflows, something that I can see on it. Actually, at sometimes I'm having a problem myself, because we as marketers don't have the luxury to enjoy, a 1 month project timeline. Hey, let's build a page. Let's go talk to UX. Let's talk to the design. How about we talk to the corporate communication guys who can help us polish the copy? How about QA? How about personalization? Maybe CRO, CO, with 20 different teams within the organizations, waiting for another team to get their input is a recipe for disaster. Meaning that me working on 5 different projects and delivering 20 different types of content to cover every audience, to cover every channel, every campaign, just requires me to push the CMS to the limit, but also to really go and disrupt existing processes. Otherwise, I don't know, I cannot deliver on my commitments and I cannot deliver on my KPIs. And if you bundle this with a couple more things like security, compliance, scalability, access to new features, the fact that we keep switching between different tools, and our, browser are just complaining that there's no enough memory to handle all those pages that we've loaded in the background, as well as the what I and I'm picking back to the what I said about the rigid workflows. We need to rethink how we look at the DX, how we plan, how we execute, how we manage, how we scale, and really how we prepare even our content and experience so it resonates to the needs and expectations of there's, I would call them, a new breed of visitors and customers and prospects that have a way different things of thinking. Which brings me to the question, and this will get into a something that we discussed early on with John. Where do you begin, considering there are so many skill gaps to fill, so many different areas, so many different teams? And I know from a marketing perspective that probably I would love to get access to new capabilities. I promise this is not an AI webinar. I would love to get more tools, more integrations, more connectivity, but I know what John would say. And John would say, you know what, let's upgrade this legacy CMS. That just works just fine. I mean, I started 10 years ago, John, with Progress, and I still believe that Sitefinity 9 is the perfect CMS. It gives you everything. If you're into static content and your static pages, some basic stuff, it's really amazing. But things have changed. So John, here's where you're going to pick the screen, do your mojo, and I will sit here and pretend that I understand what you're doing. The end result should be an up-to-date version that can give me the capabilities that I am interested in.
Yeah, so one of the goals today on the where you begin, and obviously the reason that it's the largest thing on the page right now is, where do you begin? To migrate to Sitefinity Cloud, I need a minimum of version 13.3. If your site is on 13.3 or above, you can hand us your code, you can hand us your database. We will do the configurations and the capabilities that we need to get it to Sitefinity Cloud. Most of the level of effort is your testing, right? You may have integrations, other things, which we're going to get into it in a little bit. Part of the other goal of this particular webinar is to show we've been listening, right? It's hard to migrate. It's hard to look at new technology. So we want to show you the tool sets and the features today to look at legacy code. Are there inconsistencies in the site? How many templates do I have? How many pages am I doing? Which widgets am I actually using in this application? So where do you begin? Might start in several different places, but to begin with cloud, you really simply just need to be on version 13.3. You can hand it over to us. We will do the magic, so to speak, if you will, and then you need to test your application. Not a whole lot I can do for you there. I mean, that'll take a little bit of time, if you don't mind, but we've had customers go as live as little as a week. Some take longer, some take less, depending on the complexity of your site, how it's configured, etc. So the where do you begin? Look at your version number. If you're on 13.3, you're ready to go to the cloud. Now, disclaimer, you will need to get on to a 14.4 later version. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, just so you're covered under support and some other aspects. But we will take it, we will help you migrate it, and you can test it, and you'll be on your way.
Can you show me at least how stuff works?
You know, this is my favorite part. So yeah, let's start with starting with the where do you begin, right? Again, as I talk to customers and partners alike, like, well, it's a project, right? Moving to cloud, and not only moving to cloud, you're going to get our renderers now. You're going to be able to choose from Next.js or ASP.NET Core. Like, what do I got? I don't know. I got 10,000 pages. I've no clue, right? So part of the where do you begin is with our page analysis tool. So with our page analysis tool, as I'm sharing my screen here,
It's a
just
good idea.
thinking about it a little bit. There we go. You're going to be able to take a look at what you have in your particular site. So right now, I'm taking a look at templates. So across my site, you can actually see I've already done some work in ASP.NET Core, which is our new latest technology in the renderer. I've done apparently some work in Next.js as well. I know I have, I was testing something. But you can also see I have 10 MVC templates. I don't have any web form ones. That's our oldest legacy technology, which, as a reminder, is deprecated at this particular point in time. So I have 10 MVC templates that I'll need to work on. So again, I'm getting an inventory of what's going on in my site today. Although templates are important, I can see how many pages that they're on, where they're being used, etc. Pages is one of my most favoritist things to look at. In fact, we're going to do a migration of a page today, and it's going to be our news page, right? So I'm going to find the news page, right? And as part of looking at the news page, here it is, and you can see I have a couple with the name news in here. I can take a look at what's on this particular page. So it's hierarchy, right? Which templates are being used, which widgets are being used, and if I'm migrating this to a renderer technology, and again, the reason we're bringing up rendering technology is it comes with Sitefinity Cloud. So if you're using MVC today, or even if you're using web forms, it'll still work in cloud, but as part of your long-term roadmap, it's important to get to the latest and greatest technology. And this is the tool that's going to help aid us, again, take the inventory and then later on migrate to the new technology. So as I'm looking at the inventory of this particular news page, you can see all the widgets that I have on it. In fact, as I look at this card widget here and I look at the subscribe form, they do not have a renderer component, okay? So in full disclosure, in order to migrate to a new technology, there will be some developer hands-on. Again, we've listened. We obviously are in the AI boat. And as part of that, we've come out with tooling for developers as well to help you create, manage Sitefinity web components, templates, custom widgets with AI. And this is what we call a model context protocol server. Don't worry about what any of that means. It's not overly important. What it means, and what I'm about to show you here in a second, is that I can type in a prompt and ask it to help me create a Sitefinity widget, and it will help me do it. So let's take a look at this. Now, in full disclosure, this particular video is played at a higher rate of speed, okay? You guys don't want to watch me click buttons for 10 minutes, okay? The original time it took me to generate this widget was around, I think, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, okay? So some of these areas are played at 10x or more. It's going to be about a minute and a half. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we've typed a prompt. I want to create a Sitefinity card widget because I notice I don't have one in the renderer. I wanted to include the following properties. These are the things that you're going to be able to set on the widget. I need a heading, a text, an image selector, a label, a link picker, a view selector, so I want different templates, and then create a view using the Bootstrap card styles, because that's how the old one worked, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So once I input that prompt, I will let the AI do its particular magic and start to run away. It's going to communicate with the free model context protocol server that Sitefinity has to offer in both ASP.NET Core and Next.js. I do have to interact with this a little bit here. I'm clicking some next buttons. Gives me a summary of everything we did. We're going to look at the widget, right? I noticed the link picker wasn't what I wanted it to work like. So I've asked it to change how the picker works. I want it to be a page picker instead of a link builder. So again, some interactions are happening. I'm going to run the site again. I'm going to enter some headings. I'm going to try it. My image isn't showing. Look, it's not a perfect world. I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm going to ask it for a little bit of help. Help me fix the image. It wasn't showing up in the UI. Again, it's going to interact with the MCP server, get suggestions, modify my code. And here in just a moment, we'll go ahead and take a look at the page. And here we go. Now, this is just a simple test page. It's not what we've migrated yet. I enter my text, I select an image, I have a link picker, or again, it's more a page selector just to be transparent. I can change the appearance. I have a template. I actually created more than one template in that particular process. And I save the changes, and lo and behold, a new widget in ASP.core in this particular case for the cards, right? So again, very easily and quickly, I can generate new custom widgets through Sitefinity. In this case, we were looking for a widget that was out of the box with Sitefinity. It's not in there any longer, but within 10 minutes or so, I can create my own, okay? So once I've created the widget, I then need to migrate a page. Now, again, disclaimer on this particular run through is I've already migrated the page template, okay? And actually, in fact, hold on, before I share how this is migrated, let me show you one other thing here really quick. We're gonna migrate the news page, right? And it has several widgets on it, as you saw me through the page analysis tool. And it looks, something about like this, right? So here's my news page right now. This is an MVC technology, so current technology, right? Not a renderer, okay? So this is the page that we're going to migrate, okay? So from the page analysis tool, it actually gives us the capabilities to generate a command that will help us migrate the page. So it's going to copy the widgets, use the appropriate template, etc. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Again, disclaimer, this is played at a little bit faster rate than real time. It's maybe took 3 minutes or something along those lines. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, maybe a minute and a half. So I'm going to look for that news page, as I showed you before. I'm going to copy the CLI. I'm going to run the particular command, okay? Now, in this case, it's going to start to perform, again, its underlying magic. I now have the page. I now have the card widget. You will notice that one widget didn't migrate, and we're going to talk about that here in a second when we look at the page builder itself, okay? So again, we've listened, we heard it's hard to migrate to the newer technologies, so we want to give you the tools to help you perform those at a much higher rate of speed. Now, let me get back over here to my screen share. So now we're going to be looking at the Sitefinity page builder, right? So again, for those of you who haven't seen it, hopefully you have at this particular point in time, this is what the new page editing interface looks like. In fact, again, this is my migrated page. You may notice some differences. There's more columns here. It's up to you if they need to look, one-to-one or exactly the same. Obviously, styling can be different, etc. Couple other things to note here. You'll notice this one failed to map, right? And I was okay with that. In this particular case, we were using an older version of a widget. I don't need this anymore, so we might remove it. Okay, so I don't need it, but it is warning me that something didn't come over, so I can do a little bit of investigation to do something, right? So as we're looking at the new page interface, we have some really, great features for helping me as an author or editor to help, again, maintain style and brand throughout the application. In fact, maybe at the top of this, I would like a banner across the top, right? I'm going to take advantage of our section preset here really quick. Design team already made a banner style for me. It's got a place for my header and footer. In fact, I'm going to remove this. Actually, we don't even need to remove it. We can actually just take this that I had here before, place it over here, remove this one, delete it. Now you can see it's aligned a little bit differently. We'll just do that quickly with the editor here. No real major differences here for the editor, but of course I can take advantages of our AI features that we have up here in the top right. Okay, so a quick change. Maybe the image needs to be updated as well. This food kind of background isn't overly working for this particular scenario, so let's go ahead and change that. It's the one that we included with the preset, right? But maybe we want to show this group of individuals here as the background. In a matter of a few moments there, good. We got a new background image. We got a quick logo. Okay, fine. The text color doesn't look great there. I can obviously see in real time the idea of that doesn't look great, so maybe I need to change it. I'm not going to in this case. I'd go through another iteration, maybe pick a different image, etc. So a lot of good, great features, within the system. I guess really quick, just to show you that card widget. Again, I've added even more components since that particular video, changed some labeling in here as well. But picking an image, easy to use designer, building stuff out. Again, all built through AI. And again, 10 minutes or less. So some really, really great features. Now from here, I want to show you a couple other quick AI features. Now, disclaimer about these next features that I'm about to show you is they are only available for our Sitefinity Cloud customers. One is our AI assistant, okay? Our Sitefinity AI assistant, or as we like to call it, SIA, allows you to generate an assistant about your Sitefinity content, I would say in 30 minutes or less, but if it takes you that long, it's because you're playing with the prompt, right? This is very, very simple to set up. It's trained on all of your Sitefinity content. And again, you're gonna have an assistant right out of the box. I'm gonna show you from the inside out. So here we're gonna configure an assistant. So here's how I've instructed it to behave. I give it a quick description, a name, etc. This particular one by the name here is called the personal banking assistant. The idea here is that I'm more talking to my customer base. This is for financial services. My customer base who's, again, personal accounts, right? Here, again, I just instructed to behave a little bit different, and I even personalized the widget on the site as I know you interact with personal business or personal checking, savings, etc. I changed the experience, right? We're going to go look at it from the front end, but this is the one that I use kind of as the general assistant here. I've given it some additional instructions, like make sure you're observing decimal places when you're generating answers about APY or APR. So again, I've given it a little bit of nudge on how I want it to behave. This is the level of configuration that you need to do for this assistant to work. As we go and we take a look at it from the front end perspective, so a user visiting the site, again, this one is using just our general banking assistant. So I'll go ahead and interact with that. You can change these button icons, logos. You can change the logo here. You can give it a name. It could be Allie, the AI assistant. Just picking on her. She just happens to be here today. But what do I need to do to open a checking account? Now, it has no context at this point if I'm business or personal or whatever. It's going to look through my Sitefinity content and mention that it's a minimum of $25. You might need to bring some other information and even give me the sources for this particular content. Now, you can see there's a mixture of both personal and a business banking application. In fact, this application itself is a Word document that it's searched in as well. As I continue on my journey, I need to know where they're located. For those of you who know, the Progress headquarters is in Burlington. So let's see if they have any locations in Burlington. So let's see what it has. Now, this is a content type within Sitefinity that I call locations, and it found it. In fact, there happens to be 2 locations in Burlington, one in the beautiful town of Burlington, Vermont, as well as Burlington, Massachusetts. And even a blog post or a news article, actually, in this particular case. So a news article about our new Vermont location, our locations page, as well as our individual item. And then lastly, something bad happened, right? My credit card was stolen, lost, etc., right? So let's see what it knows about how to report a stolen credit card. All right. So at this point, again, it's trained on all the content within Sitefinity, and it's going to give me a response. One, if you have a stolen credit card, do some stuff. It's going to give me a source here. It's a support request page. It even gives me a phone number for our bank as well. So actually, let's go ahead and take a look at it.
How long did it take to set up, John? How much time did it take to set up this entire experience?
You can have it set up in 5 minutes or less, just if you use the out-of-the-box prompt that it particularly gives you, right? Now, it will take a little bit of, again, I call it nudging on how you want it to behave or potentially respond, or even if you wanted to create multiple agents, if you will, for different scenarios. Like I have personal banking versus just my general aspect of the system. So in this case, again, 30 minutes or less, no problem at all. it's like the old adage of getting your pizza in 30 minutes or less. I'm more than comfortable saying that you can do this in 30 minutes or less.
Yes.
It might take you longer, but you're just going to be playing with the prompt, doing some other stuff, tweak here, tweak there. But again, in 5 minutes you can have it up and running and on a page. But from there, again, just takes a few moments of tweaking, etc.
Just one last clarification.
Yeah,
It doesn't require you to scrape the entire website. It works directly with the
on Sitefinity content. Yep,
content. Yeah,
absolutely.
that's good. That's good.
Content blocks. For example, like we have this personal checking page here. It has all the information about our checking requests and etc. So we can we didn't need to train it on that. You did see that we nudged it about some acronyms that we have, like what is your checking rate? Okay. I did notice that sometimes when it was responding, it wasn't respecting some of my decimals. So I
Mhm.
asked it to make sure it was respecting that. In this case, it didn't return me back that particular information. I might need to be a bit more specific on the question. But as you look here, you can see, we have, rates or APY that it might, respond back. So I wanted to make sure it was respecting our formatting of things.
By the way, I mean, now that you mentioned that it will look in Sitefinity content, there's another
Mm-hmm.
reason for everyone who is working in Sitefinity generating content to actually maintain a high level of content hygiene, I would say, and to create as many different forms and
Mm-hmm.
enrich the content with relevant information.
Right.
So Saya can pick it up, but we'll talk about it later in another use case, why this is becoming essential and actually how to automate things. I think that we've shown the automation itself in a webinar that we did like 4 months ago when
I
we
think so.
discussed AI capabilities and
Right.
automation, but we'll touch on it in a couple of minutes. John, any other demos from you, or can
Yep,
we move
one
to the...
one more feature that's available exclusively for our cloud customers, and that is our advanced image search. Alex, I know you're always looking for images, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you have thousands and thousands that you're always looking for, right? I don't have thousands in here, but I got 100 at least, right? And I'm in a rush. I need to find it. I don't remember the name of it. I don't even really remember exactly what it looked like or what folder it was in, but I do know that it had credit cards in the, if I can spell today, credit cards in the image itself, right? So what we have is called advanced image search. We're using a vector database to help us find the main focal points of images that include things that you're searching for. So here are all of the images within the system. In fact, you notice I have a duplicate, right? Could help you in those aspects as well. Not what it's really designed for, but here are all the images that include credit cards. Or how about even better yet, we have, blue credit cards. So if we're looking for a blue credit card, you can see the numbers are reducing. This one has blue. That guy's holding the blue one. This has a, it's a really tiny here. I just to show you, this person is holding a blue credit card, right? And again, I want to prove that, look, there's nothing in this image. In fact, it's just a random ID here. There's no title, there's no alt text. I don't even have tags or categories on this image. First of all, shame on whoever uploaded this because they didn't put a title in here, but that's besides the point. We don't even need it, right? So exclusively for our cloud customers, we have the access to the advanced image search. Maybe also one more and then I'm done. Happy people, right? I was like, oh man, there was a group of people, that like it's in here. Oh, here we go. Here's
Oh,
all the
yeah.
happy people that we have in here. This person is jumping for joy in a sunset. I mean, it's even cut off. Like you only got like a little tiny, but they're
It
happy.
looks
You
like
got
a
your
capture,
hands
to
in the
be honest.
air.
Like, yeah, it looks like a Google capture.
I mean, it could be, but again, it's really really powerful. And the idea, again, is that you're looking for stuff, cars, right? You don't want any images with cars or car in there. Okay, I don't have any. That's fine. Doesn't make sense, but I do have a car, right? I don't have one with multiple cars, but I do have one with a car, right? So again, very powerful image search. In fact, I've done it before. I won't do it today, but I can look up convertible, and it finds me this one specific image here that's looking for it. Why did this one come up? I'm glad you asked. I believe, there we go, it's Carla. That's why Carla came up for cars. No offense to Carla, okay? but her name includes CAR, or the title in this particular case includes CAR. So again, it's still grabbing title stuff. It's still looking at that
It
type of
is.
stuff, but it's also using, again, the main focal points of images, etc.
Yeah, but how often do people fill those meta fields basically? Because even
Tell
I
me.
don't, I don't, no,
I
I
know,
don't,
right?
and I
Well, alt
get all
text. I
those
mean, we're
images
doing
from
alt
our
text
website.
for sure, but
Yeah, it is. It
yep.
is. You know, in all fairness, you may or may not need such powerful search. It doesn't mean that you always need it 100% of the time, but it's a handy enhancement and is a plugin essentially that you can enable in Sitefinity Cloud, which can do the job. If you're working with lots of content, especially in media, especially with landing pages, when you want to grab as many stock photos for your presentation or for your landing page. We'll talk about another customer later as a showcase who do not necessarily need this capability. They needed the scalability and high availability. So it really depends on what you need. And Jonathan went through the process of showing me migrations of widgets. But John, I have a ton of questions for you. I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a question that every prospect, everyone who is considering an upgrade will ask. Essentially, how do I start? Where do we begin? And will I get my widgets available? And I'll show you a list of widgets, and you need to tell me this is done, this is possible, this is not possible, this is done through, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Web
it's definitely a
MVC
pain point.
integrations. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely a pain point. Where, again, where do I get started? What do I have? So that page analysis tool, step one, identify what you have, what you need moving on, and then take advantage of other AI tools like our Copilot integration with that Model Context Protocol, MCP, where now your development team can produce widgets, and again, 10 minutes for something that took me probably a day.
It's one page though, and one widget.
One widget, one page, 5 widgets on a page, you're maybe getting that done in a day versus a week. Maybe.
Here's the question, by the way.
Etc. But
yeah, here's the question, by the way. Over time, widgets do pile up.
They do.
And if you open your wardrobe, you see a ton of Progress T-shirts that you don't have enough webinars to wear. So, is this an opportunity? Is there an opportunity to have a look at your inventory and to say, maybe this widget we can tweak it? Maybe we don't need to migrate all widgets, but focus on 5, 10, 15, the most frequently ones.
Yeah, as you're migrating to a render technology, that's where that page analysis tool really comes into play, right? Cool. How many pages do you have? What widgets are on those pages? I didn't show you the screen in the demo, but there is a widget specific screen that lists all the widgets you have. And by default, it orders it by number of uses, right? So in that list, there's going to be 0 use widgets, right? Which means if they are custom, you don't need them, right? So again, it's gonna really align. Bring your customizations with you. You can still have full stack access to the development lifecycle of Sitefinity, or within Sitefinity Cloud, or you can go with our automatic model, which allows you to only customize the front end technology, which you can still interact with custom APIs. You can still pull data from other platforms. You can do all sorts of great stuff. So there are no limits to what you can do with Sitefinity Cloud. Bring it all with you.
Hold a second. I know you're a fan of widgets and migrations and stuff like that. I'm a fan of getting things automated, getting some data from A to B. So
yeah,
loan originated system, I think, or what is I mean, this is an abbreviation, apparently a proprietary system, CRM integration and rate services and potentially compliance and regional data residency requirements. How do you handle those?
Obviously, there's many ways to dig a hole. We can bring a backhoe. We can bring a little spade shovel. I'm a gardener. I like tomatoes, so I just use the little baby shovels, right? And as part of using that baby shovel, we have a no-code methodology to building integrations. Whether it's getting data out of Sitefinity, like a form submission, and integrating it with a loan originating system or your CRM or a rate service to pull data backwards into Sitefinity on a nightly or other scheduled basis. Again, tons of different options there, but we have no code ways to build deep integrations into Sitefinity, and again, in real time or periodically throughout the day, bi-directional, right?
All
Also
right,
get your
so
data into the Insight platform as well to continue to
we'll
build
get
that
there in a minute.
360-degree profile. Absolutely.
More questions for you, though. All right, so here's where it gets interesting. Front-end widgets and components, you did mention them. All right, so that is relatively easy to rebuild them, create the new ones.
Correct.
Forms and apps. How about forms? Do we design new forms or do we migrate existing forms?
You know, obviously that's up to you, right? But as part of the migration utility that we showed you the brief demo of, if there's a form on a page, it will migrate it for you into the new renderer technology. You may need to do some little bit of tweaking. It obviously needs to also rely on mappings and ensuring that the widgets are there. It will migrate it for you. Now the responses will be a new collection of responses, just to be clear. But you can bring the forms along with you. You can bring the customizations and apps. Hopefully with technologies like Next.js, maybe you don't have to have as many apps built within Sitefinity. You can take advantage of the client-side rendering and the server-side rendering that it has to offer in one bundle, so to speak. But again, if you're a .NET developer, no problem. Bring whatever frameworks you want along with it. You have full control over all of the front-end widgets, components, designs, style, everything.
Rapid fire, rate tables, disclosures, ATM locators, CRM integration, personalization. Okay, let's focus on rate tables. Any credit union, any banking, any basically financial services website will have one way or another this kind of stuff. How do I create them?
I've seen kind of twofold on that particular case. Some of my financial services customers like to just manage the rates as a content type in Sitefinity. Okay. So if you're doing that today, bring it along with you. The other 50% have APIs that they're interacting with. Now, two options there. One, build a custom widget to just reach out to it, pull it in real time. Option two is maybe you need to augment those rates with additional either data or SEO stuff or imagery or something in Sitefinity. Use that integration hub for a no code, bring it in as a content type in draft status, make some augments to it, again, whatever you need to do, and then publish it, right? So again, bring it along with you. What you're doing today, you can still do in Sitefinity Cloud.
Because we do have customers in other verticals. Let's just briefly have a look at a couple of the pain points and maybe some specific integrations.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with, say, higher education. We'll cover just one more vertical, and obviously we can go on forever, because at the end of the day, Sitefinity is such a flexible, powerful platform that you can build anything. How about I pick this one? Hold on a second. Events and calendars. All right, how do we handle this? In education.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna repeat, right? So, admissions, applications, design the forms in Sitefinity, use a no-code integration like Integration Hub. Now, that being said, if Integration Hub doesn't work for you, maybe you have a processing system already, you still have full access to things like Service Hook in Sitefinity. So that Service Hook could post the data to a listening endpoint that you guys already have somewhere. By all means, continue to use that process or make that the new process moving forward. Programs, course catalogs, events calendars, I think kind of follow that same idea as rates, right? Bring them in a periodic basis if they're coming from SharePoint or wherever, right? Publish them, maybe bring them in as draft because you need to, again, add SEO, other marketing enrichments, etc. Bring them in a scheduled task kind of scenario, or use the Integration Hub to do that as well. Personalization, again, I think it's going to be just as easy as doing it with on-premise, but keep in mind with CDN, that's cached all over the globe for all those different variations of the page as well. So again, hopefully it's a faster performance standpoint from a public visitor type of scenario.
Goes beyond saying that faculty website is something easy that can be done in Sitefinity Cloud. Many of our customers are doing it. Different designs, different permissions, different workflows, different content types. That's easy. One thing, have a look at that. This is associations. Obviously, specific systems, member directories, event platforms, again, GDPR, compliance, accessibility, member privacy.
Sure.
This one, and I don't think, nope, I don't have it here. SSO, and I think that this is really an important question.
Great question.
Or authentication, given that you can build either intranet or a portal or a member-only sites. How do you handle authentication in Sitefinity Cloud? Can I bring my own provider? I think that this, because it's easy when you're on-prem, you can extend it into whatever you want to.
Have no fear, Alex. Bring it. I say, bring it on, right? All SSOs will continue to work. Now,
you keep promising stuff. That's okay. I like your
the disclaimer here, though, is again, we have kind of two different variations of cloud, right? We have the base model, which you only have the front end code access. In that model, you have configuration only SSO. That means it's OpenID Connect, it's OAuth, Auth0, configuration only type of SSO. With our full stack developer edition of Sitefinity Cloud, you could create your own custom authentications, just as you might be doing on-premise today, right? Again, the major differences between those two models of Sitefinity Cloud is how it's upgraded, right? The base model is an automatic upgrade. It's always up to date. Alex gets the latest and greatest features. He's happy chipping away at creating new features based on the stuff.
So
the full developer stack,
is a flip of a switch, though. Yep. The developer tools is flip of a switch. You don't need to do much to enable it.
You're exactly right.
Yep.
You're exactly right.
Non-negotiables, man. Compliance, risk management, high availability. I need them. They're supported. Yep.
Make it rain. We have all the acronym soups as far as security goes. So the GDPR, ISO, SOC 2, bring it. We've met all sorts of different security compliances. Whatever you guys need, bring it along. We have reporting tools for security, everything.
We'll take a screenshot of this one and send it to
everyone.
But now here it is. Here's where it gets tough. Planning an upgrade. Evaluating your choices. Budgeting.
Are we having a moment here where we're evaluating our life choices right now, Alex? No.
Yes, because you mentioned it already. Lift and shift is the easiest way, to happiness. Take what you have, bring it over to the cloud. We'll take it, we'll host it, so you can focus on other stuff. So speed to value is amazing, but does it come with cons, like maybe the need to upgrade at some point,
potentially the need to
front end?
Sure, potentially the need to upgrade. Obviously, in full disclosure, you need to test your site again. This means testing all integrations that you might currently have. Ensuring that they're working. So there's a level of effort to that aspect of moving whatever hosting provider that you're moving. I mean, that just comes with the territory, right? Now, of course, with Sitefinity Cloud being hosted by it, we're also giving you a 90-day success program that gets you a success manager. Check-ins with that manager during your first 90 days, gives you a quick, line of sight to, fixes that might happen. Hey, we had this thing, it used to work, now it doesn't work, right? Like, it's got to be cloud, right? Okay, fine, might be. Is there a reason to refactor it? Or is there a reason to change how it's implemented? You have a team behind you for success management as well, with your lift and shift, and of course your account managers and everybody are always here to assist you as well. But
John, keep me honest here, though.
Yeah,
keep me honest, because it's easy to lift and shift, but will all cloud capabilities be available? Let's be honest here. Maybe not to start with. Like
so, I mean, yes. Well, there's some. If you're on older versions, I don't have the list in front of me right now, but some of the capabilities on uptime monitoring or whatever weren't available in, say, like 13.3, et cetera. So there will be some trade-offs. Again, if you're coming over to cloud and you have concerns about that aspect, again, reach out to us, account managers, et cetera. We'll talk you through all the different scenarios.
So maybe it's worth looking at, say, replatforming, meaning what can you do in order to get access to those capabilities, so you can enable other teams, not only benefit from obviously cloud and stuff, but also from uptime monitoring, even Sitefinity AI assistant, the image search, even CI/CD pipelines and stuff like this. So
yeah, I mean, we've had several customers who were like, we've been on Sitefinity for a while. We've learned a lot over the years. Maybe we want to start afresh. That's always an option. In that point, you might just choose to migrate your content, right? So that's your structured stuff. That's news, that's blog posts, that's your rates table if it's stored in Sitefinity, that's your people table if it's stored in Sitefinity, whatever it is, right? But giving you, again, the latest and greatest technology, the ability to iterate very quickly using, again, Copilot tools for developing new widgets, styling, monitoring, etc. Bring over that content. We can do it with little to no code. Integration Hub is a great choice for this. And again, taking advantage of the latest and greatest technologies while doing so.
Given that there might be, some dependencies, even internal resources, resource limitations, and things like this, is hybrid approach a viable option? And I think that I've seen some success stories on our website where some of our customers who migrated to the cloud, not necessarily to Sitefinity Cloud, but migrated to the cloud, or the new renderer chose exactly this hybrid option. When would you say, well, it's a good choice, sensible choice to modernize the DX?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. Obviously, it is all of these scenarios are case by case, right? So we're happy to help you investigate your scenarios and what makes the most sense. This one, admittedly, is probably the most common scenario, right? It's going to take some level of effort to convert in the modernization factor to a renderer, right?
Yeah.
Now, and obviously, we're trying to reduce those hurdles by giving you the page analysis tool, CLI tools to help you migrate widgets and pages, Copilot to help you generate the widgets that you need to do a migration. The beautiful part about coming to Sitefinity Cloud is that we're going to give you a renderer as part of the package. So if you're on Next.js, or if you want to choose Next.js, or you want to choose ASP.NET Core, they're already going to be in place for you. So you already have the tools to build the components. You can do it rapidly. You can iterate very quickly with all the tools at hand, and potentially go through a page by page, or do a whole multi-site capability where you build out a whole new site next to the old site, reusing your content, right? So again, lots of options there. We're happy to work through it case by case with you. Hybrids, again, probably the most common one that we're seeing. Bring what you have today. Let's look at the picture using the analysis tool. Let's decide what we need to migrate. Do the migration. Now you're on the latest and greatest technology.
But John, what if I want to rebuild it from scratch? I mean, with SEO in mind, with personalization, this is again an option, but it does require investment. Keep me honest here.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. You can, again, with the hybrid approach, you can rebuild the front end technology, right? You could also produce new content types or whatever, but bringing in the content that you already have. Now, refactoring again can be done in two different methodologies, right? One, I want to completely blank slate. Okay, only bring over the stuff I want. Or again, bring your code as is, right? We now have a renderer access in cloud. Maybe use a multi-site, build out a new front end, design new models. So current site works as is, building new site on the side, then go have a release party later. I like to call it the Big Bang Theory. No, I don't watch the show, but again, that the refactoring of your current solution, again, as you can see, it being inside of or outside sort of the hybrid model, they do go very similarly hand in hand there.
Again, dependencies of which version you are currently on and the technology you're using, it will determine probably the best scenario and the best course of action for you. And I think that this needs to be an honest conversation with both the vendor, whether you're working through a partner, through us, or even internally. And there's a reason why, because John, you look at a migration from a technical point of view. I look at it from a business point of view. And I know that there are quite a few factors that you need to consider when you're planning this. I know that you say, well, bring your content. That's great. I'll say, am I seeing some negative trends in terms of, for example, content, user or site usage or traffic, organic or PPC traffic? Am I seeing, oops, sorry, something happened? Am I seeing shift in usage, moving, for example, folks moving away from desktop to mobile? Am I seeing low engagement, meaning fewer conversions, less business, fewer leads? Am I seeing inability to act upon analytics? And I'm always looking at just visits and time spent on site and not necessarily at what contributes to generating business. And last but not least, am I able to use AI to automate things, to make my life easier? And I think, and last but not least, am I ready for the new breed of optimization for generative engines versus traditional SEO that is not necessarily guaranteed to bring you better results in the long run? And we are seeing definitely trends where organic traffic is getting down, and generating more leads and more business requires rethinking how you approach it. So John, on the previous slide, we saw about versions, MVC, web forms, modern renderers, but I tend to look at it from this perspective, how this migration will help me. And if we need to look at it again from your tech stack readiness, I would say have a conversation within the team to identify the key integration points, skills gaps, opportunities, and whether you are ready to adopt, for example, the new renderer, the benefits, but also what support you will need. And we can continue to mention the MCP server, AI project development, etc. The need for headless and GraphQL support and web services, so you're not doing the same thing over and over again, but you're repurposing content through channels, and connectivity integrations. We did mention it a couple of times, but here is the caveat here. We often talk about things like CRM integrations and MailChimp or Marketo or HubSpot or systems that will get some user data, do something with it, and then let you email something. How about using integrations to improve your quality of life, meaning so you don't have to send another email, to send another Teams message, to send to go into another meeting, and you can automate, for example, what's happening on your website in terms of content management or feedback for customers or bug reports with the specific systems. And I think that many of our customers who are still researching integrations and the opportunity to bring multiple systems together are not necessarily thinking in a direction where they can integrate ServiceNow or Workday or Jira or Asana or many other systems. And there's so many opportunities. In fact, we've started rebuilding our marketplace on the website, and you can go in there and get some inspiration about use cases. And it's amazing how you will see that through a centrally managed integration hub, you can facilitate those connections and build on top of each other and make your life easier, make something happen with this content. And there's a reason why. I personally am spending lots of time in meetings. I spend a lot of time in helping other folks or working with other folks, which gives me like 10% of my time to focus on the work that I need to do. And it is not necessarily the best use of my time. So any kind of automation that can kind of remove some of the burden of writing emails or repeating stuff or following on certain assignments can be a great enabler. CI/CD, again, not waiting for folks to complete the tasks, non-blocking project delivery. This is something that I really appreciate, because honestly, I really don't have the patience to wait for something else to happen down the waterfall project management process that I feel personally outdated. And I do have a number of features that I love, and some of those Jonathan mentioned. I'll just quickly cycle through those in an effort to catch up with the time, because we have like 3 minutes left.
Sure.
Agentic AI Builder is coming, by the way. Later in a couple of weeks, maybe a preview will be available.
I think so.
So if you have something that you want to test, John, do you want to mention a word about it? or should I just invite folks to
Yeah,
watch our
get a hold of your
website?
account managers. Let them know you're interested in the agentic, basically AI page building. Let's remove the
Yes,
first
that's
word because it's confusing. But yeah, you want a prompt-based page building experience. You're a cloud customer already.
love it.
Let us know.
Yep. This is good. This is something that I'm looking forward to. It will help me like slash landing page creation times by potentially 90%. Another thing that I always enjoy using, if you're not using section presets, your best friend when it comes to enabling folks like me, available to the in the renderer scenario only. So no web forms, no MVC, but ASP.NET
Right.
Core. It's a great time saver
Or
because you can,
Next.js, but yeah.
yeah, you can just grab a section of a page and just move it and make your landing page irresistible. The other one is Gen AI, and it doesn't mean that I'm not using ChatGPT or Copilot or Perplexity, but it means that I don't have to switch context when I need to summarize something and while in the zone and I'm in the flow and I'm really focusing on creating stuff. AI content tagging, again, it's a great opportunity to automate things. So I'm not traversing the entire tree of taxonomy and battling, fighting someone's ideas of creating taxons. AI-driven image search, John said, I like it. Truth is, I love it because it does save me a lot of time. This one, John, you mentioned that not many of our customers are
Yeah,
using it,
I think
but
it's overlooked. Yeah. Keyboard shortcuts, again, on the
yeah,
later versions, become a content king or queen. Rifle through that content quickly. You got a bunch of rate changes coming up. You got 5 events you want to get scheduled. Create
it's easy.
event, publish an event, unpublish an event or item, whatever. Do it without your hands leaving the
The
keyboard.
editor.
Right?
It's
It's
amazing.
huge.
We mentioned the AI assistant of, I need to check whether it's available to try on our website. Maybe it's not, maybe it isn't, maybe it is, maybe it
Reach
isn't.
out. We'll
There's
get
no
you.
reach out.
Yeah, reach
SEO
out.
in
We'll demo.
2025, this is an important topic, guys. There's a blog post on our website, and I think it's just been linked from the customer newsletter. Have a look at it because search engines, ChatGPT, OpenAI in general, Copilot, Bing, they will make your life harder to get more clicks in. They will want to keep the experience to their visitors and give them the confirmation of bias and the candy, so they're happy spending more time on their websites. This is a problem for us. So have a look at this particular blog post that is on the website to learn how to optimize things. John, I think that we are out of time, but who is going to
Let's get
take
away.
the burden, the ongoing burden?
Let's
Who's
get
going to
away.
do this very beautiful thing that
Yeah.
works seamlessly?
Yeah, I mean, let us take the burden, right? So let's reduce your
Yes,
your time spent on managing code, the process, etc. Let us do it for you.
let us
Code
do it for you.
deployments of the front end technology typically take less than 5 minutes, right? So you got a
Yeah,
new feature, you got a new whatever team, bang, 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 bang. Use AI, build a new widget, get it pushed up into the staging, team test it, you push it to production with 0 downtime deployments. My favoriteest thing. That's the second time I've used that word today.
yeah.
But again, 0 downtime deployments, zone redundancy, all the features you need at hand, plus the full acronym soup of security and compliance stuff. Let us manage it for you.
Yep. But what if they have this awesome partner? What if our customers have this awesome partner? And that's a fine example of actually
Sure.
US Swimming upgrading to the latest Sitefinity version, going into Azure, working with a partner to get things done. So yes, the platform is there, deployment options are there.
Yep.
Whether you choose Sitefinity Cloud or you work with a partner you can trust,
Sure.
I mean, there's so much benefits, and you can see the results. Our website didn't even flinch. I don't think that this is summarizing it all. What to expect? This one, and we have another slide, and we're done. What's ahead? Agentic AI Builder, which is coming later in September. Sign up for a preview. LTS is coming in October.
Yep.
And November timeframe. Yep,
That's
it's
right.
an LTS version.
Yep.
A couple of things. Sitefinity 13.3 will be retired, so something to look forward to upgrading potentially moving away from it because yeah, we wanted to get you on a supported version. 15.4 will be supported all the way through and potentially beyond January 2030. So you have plenty of time to use the capabilities that we've already baked into the platform and do magic. What if you don't? I mean, nothing bad can happen. Let's be honest. Your website will continue to work, probably.
Well,
I mean, you can build pages
sure.
at a slightly lower pace, perhaps, but that's a problem, I think, in the long run, John. And I think that I really appreciate all the insights that you gave. So hopefully this will give enough information to our partners and customers to start this transition
Sure.
to modern technology. Because there's this thing, customer frustration will grow. There was this report about 40% of web sessions end up with frustrated visitors. That means visitors that may or may not come again to your website.
Sure.
And this is something that you want to avoid. Rebuilding the UX, making content discovery a bit easier, whether it's through conversational assistance, whether it's through better, faster websites, faster pages, better search, better organization, better UX. It's a great way to mitigate this risk of customer frustration growing.
Right.
Lost visibility in discovery. Again, I spoke briefly about it. Maybe SEO, AI optimization is a webinar that we need to do. Awesome. Good. That's good. Job done. I'm
Thanks,
taking some time.
everyone.